guys, welcome back to Home Built, and the countdown is on for the Alfarrari. Alright guys, welcome back to Home Built, and yes, it is time. The countdown is on for the public reveal of the Alfarrari. I have committed to revealing the Alfarrari at the Raceworks stand at World Time Attack, which is the first weekend in September. So from now we have 11 weeks to get the Alfarrari resembling a complete car. It may not be finished. I'm basically certain it won't be finished, but it will be there. It'll be hopefully on its wheels, hopefully cosmetically finished up. Whether there's all the things buttoned up, who knows? Whether it's properly running and all the rest of it by that stage, probably not, but hopefully it is actually startable by then. So there is a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it, so we need to get stuck into it. So let's go. All right, so first thing to completing the car is completing the seats. Now, most of you have seen the last few weeks, I've been building these seat covers, and I just quickly chucked them over the top of the seats. I didn't get any time to really adjust. I haven't gone over them with a heat gun yet, or reassemble them or any of that stuff. So first things first, I think we need to get out the crack lighter and the heat gun, and we're gonna go through and try not to melt plastic, and try and get rid of a bunch of these wrinkles and the little excess threads and things like that to make these nice and neat and tidy. All right, and first thing for reassembling the seats, I've just gone through and I've got a bunch of this really old original plastic that's quite worn. And there was a trick I actually saw Sarah and Tune do, was going over with either a heat gun or, in my case, even the crack lighter. Will be able to basically remelts the surface and then sort of shines up the leather, and it seems to work quite well. I'll demonstrate now. You can see half and half there. This end is looking much, much better just by sort of basically heating up the plastic again and sort of bringing it back. I don't know, just burning off the white stuff. I don't know exactly how it works, but it seems to work. So let's keep going on this, and then I'll show you how the heat gun works on the leather. So here I'm just doing the final reassembly of the seat before I start getting the crack lighter out and burning off the excess threads. And here in time lapse you can really see how the leather sort of shrinks nicely with the heat gun. Now you have to be very careful not to put too much heat into it. You don't want to damage the leather, and it's very easy to do, but just a bit of heat, keeping it moving around and spreading out the heat, and you can really see that these wrinkles just disappear in front of your eyes, and it pulls the whole cover nice and tight, and it looks so good. That heat gun works wonders. Like, I don't even remember, there were huge creases in here, in the sides, and there was wrinkles all over this, and now, look how good that looks. Like, okay, my stitching is not perfect, and, you know, it's definitely not perfect, but, oh, it's good enough for me. I am very, very happy with how that came out. The heat gun just transformed it. Even this rib in here, which had the foam in it, which made it much more difficult to move, and there were really strong creases in here because of the way it was packed in and it's doing this reverse curve. the foam makes it want to bunch up, and the heat gun still managed to shrink it enough to get a nice, tight, neat looking seat cover that looks fantastic. I am so happy that, yeah, it was that easy. Just a bit of a heat gun, and suddenly it's a nice, sucked in, tight, yeah, neat looking seat. That's much, 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 much better. So now I need to do the base and the driver's seat. This is the passenger seat. I need to do the base, I need to do the rest, get it all done, and then we can start reassembling the seat. So let's do a bunch more heat gun. All right, so I bolted the driver's seat back in, and I am just so happy with the overall look. There's some minor defects around. It's not perfect, but jeepers, I'm quite happy for my first attempt at a major sewing job. I am really happy with how these things turned out. So now I think we need to start wrapping that center console in leather. So let's get it out and see if we can make some shiny leather bits.
So you can see here I start gluing on a thin 3mm scrim foam. It's not too thick where it's sort of super puffy, but not thin enough that shows all the imperfections in the aluminium base. Then, as before, we cut out the leather slightly bigger than what we need so we can wrap it around and gradually start fitting it onto the piece. And it takes a bit of time to sort of go through and make some relief cuts to get it to sit on the piece nice and neatly, and just working my way around, slowly trimming so that I get a nice even finish the whole way around the piece. And then it's the same again with the rest of the center console. Scrim foam first, trim it to shape, and then cover the rest in the leather.
All right, so as you saw, I went through and did the front couple of internal panels, and I'll just take you through what I'm doing now on this center panel. So I've already done one side. This is actually a 3mm scrim foam that I'm putting onto the sides of the panel, and then I'm going to wrap the leather over the top, just to give it a little bit of, just make it a little bit more plush than if I stuck it straight down, and also it sort of covers up, you know, any minor sort of movement in the metal underneath. So yes, gluing this down, leather over the top, and then we'll get it in the car and see what it looks like. All right, it's starting to look like an interior. That looks really nice. There's a nice seam down this side here where that clips in, and then obviously when I get the center console cover and everything in, that is really going to do the job, and the seat is looking nice. Let's take you around the other side. So over this side is also looking really nice. As you see, I haven't bolted the seat in yet, but at the moment the bottom doesn't want to clip in. It's probably needs to be trimmed a little bit along this edge just to get the to sort of open the space up, because it's now got the leather wrapped over it. It's a little bit tight, so I might be able to sort of do something about that and get that looking a little bit better. But the console is in. There's still obviously got to do all the back and other stuff, but it is coming together. That makes a huge difference to the interior of the car. So now I might just have a bit of a play around with this bit here, and then start looking at getting that center console piece in and bolt this seat in. Oh yeah, I am loving this. That looks so good. These seats and just the whole thing is just matching beautifully. Yeah, the carpet is exactly what I pictured. It is really, really coming together nicely. I am so happy. Yes, definitely happy with my choices. So I think what I need to do now is I might actually bolt the dash back in and then start having a look at putting that center panel back in and seeing how much I have to make it clearance now that I've got the leather on.
So I sort of glossed over this, but it took a lot of time just marking and then grinding and trimming that center console piece just so it fits nicely now with the extra width of the leather.
All right, I am absolutely loving this. Obviously, I've put the dash in, just bolted it in quickly, and with the seats in and now the center consoles in and together, I spent a lot of time trimming down, just narrowing this backwards and forwards, just marking and trimming, because obviously there's a few millimeters extra thickness now that there's leather wrapped over the top, so that needed to fit in there, and that is looking really good. And I trimmed to the back as well, so I am very happy with that. Wow, this is just. The seat feels so good. Like the bolstering is just right. It's not too hard to get in and out of, but it's going to have some stability in the corners with still being comfortable. Oh, this center console and everything is really starting to look the part. It's really starting to feel like a car in here now. I am very, very happy with the results. There's still a bunch of work to do, and as I said, we are counting down. We've got 11 weeks until the old Alfarrari makes its public debut, but that is all the time I have for this week, so I think that means it's time for Fun Facts with Mrs. Jeff.
Hi guys, this week we couldn't go past an iconic event in the history of Ferrari with their 10th overall win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Toyota has been dominating the World Endurance Championship, winning Le Mans for 5 years straight since 2018. And they were still leading the championship into last week's race, which marks the 100th year since the first race there in 1923. Production of the Ferrari 499P started 2 years ago, and it was a challenge to get the car ready to be competitive for this year's World Endurance Championship. The 499P is powered by a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 making 680 horsepower with an additional 270 horsepower hybrid electric system. Now, the Ferraris 50 and 51 qualified in first and second place, but the race was hard fought between Ferrari, Cadillac, Porsche, Toyota and Peugeot. After the Porsche suffered mechanical failure, the Cadillacs faded away, the Peugeots crashed out. It came down to a 2-horse race between Toyota and Ferrari. A mistake by the lead Toyota coming off at Arnage put Ferrari in the lead, but there was drama at the final pit stop when Ferrari 51 wouldn't start. They then went through a full reboot procedure, finally managed to get it restarted, and it managed to come home a full 81 seconds ahead of the Toyota. This was the first time Ferrari competed for overall honours since 1973 and its first win since 1965, before the Ford GT40 dominance.
Oh, this is such a big sort of landmark occasion that we've actually got proper seats in the car, and they feel really good. I really like the bolstering and stuff. It actually worked out the way I intended it, which is really nice.
They're really comfy.
Obviously, there's more to do next week. I'm going to start tackling the dash, and yeah, we are getting there. But the countdown is on. So again, this is sort of marking 11 weeks from World Time Attack when the car is going to be publicly revealed. So I encourage any of you guys to come down and see us down there at World Time Attack
In Sydney.
Yes, in Sydney, and then
I want to get it done because we're going to be away for Rennsport Reunion in the US, and then potentially do some meetups in the southeast of the US. So be good to see some of you guys out there. Message us or let us know if there's areas we should sort of visit and things like that.
Beautiful. Wow.
All right. Well, it's coming together, but
I just have to say,
Race
like,
is on.
I wouldn't want to be much taller.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have heaps of room.
What an oddly short torso. Like, subscribe, and hopefully see some of you in the States or at Sydney.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one. See ya.
Toyota has been dominating the world endurance. Toyota has been dominating 3-litre V6, making 600. Came down to a 2-horse race between Toyota and Cadillac. No. And Ferrari, because they're the winners. Mm-hmm. Thank you. A mistake by the lead. I find that quite helpful. They then went through a full reboot. They went there in 1923.
Yes.
By Jove, she's done it. Oh.